Wrestlebuddy Podcast. All about wrestling. Subscribe and follow for more content.
Welcome, Wrestlebuddies, to the Wrestlebuddy Podcast, and I am joined today by another amazing guest, one of the true tag team legends in wrestling. You know, if you've seen it in wrestling, he's been Mr. Ricky Morton. Thank you for joining us, Ricky.
Yeah, man, it's a great pleasure. Thank you for having me on your show.
Brilliant. Oh, well, Ricky, best place to start is where it all begun for yourself. I mean, you know, you've been through pretty much every era in the wrestling industry. You've been from the territory days right up until your AEW appearance in 2019. And, you know, you continue to work your indie circuits at the moment. So I think best place to start is back in the territorial days. How did you find it going from town to town and different places and stuff like that? Did you, you know, where was your favorite place to work back in the early days?
Well, my favorite territory at that time was Memphis, Tennessee, in which that's really where I got my first break. And that's really where Jerry Lawler created the Rock and Roll Express. But, you know, but being in smaller territories, and I want to tell everybody that you get to understand about small territories. You know, I hear people, hey, tell me, I wish we still had the territory days. But if you worked in them, you never made no money. You know, but to me, it was I wouldn't trade it. It was the greatest experience of anything, learning, going into a territory. But the only thing bad is that the top baby face or the top heel, they're the ones that own the territory. And you was never going to get over them. So, and no matter what they do, things that you could see be done, it's better. But, you know, they push themselves. You know, I wrestled in Oklahoma for Leroy McGirt when I was a kid. I went out for Pat O'Connor in Kansas City in that territory. I you know, worked around Memphis. Nick Goulas is my first territory I ever worked. Wow, man. You know, some of your payoffs will be $8. And but you can play. I told Nick, I says, $8, that ain't what you make, it's what you save. Well, you got nothing to say. But the territories are great. Yeah. And then see, our business has been at the right place at the right time. And when Lawler and Jarrett and Jimmy Hart put us together in Memphis, and we got good. But Bill Watts, he owned his own territory in Louisiana. And you see that they used only big guys at that time. I'm talking 6'9", 300, Ernie Ladd, people like that. But Bill was retired, and he didn't want a booker to book because, you know, Booker would push himself. So being Roberts at the right place at the right time. It's the first time they ever seen us. You know, I'm a second generation wrestler, and growing up, even when I was a kid, on up till I started, man, you just don't even understand how the business changed. And but territory wrestling, you know, I took it as a learning, like going to college, you know, a PhD, going into different territories, working with different guys, and having some of the most amazing matches as a kid that you can get.
Yeah. And, you know, in the territories back in, you know, you say you're a second generation wrestler. Mm-hmm. So, you know, from the first generation of your pops to your generation, it was more of a change going. Was there much of a change from the early times, or was the big change when the WWF took off? Is that when the wrestling really turned on its head?
You know, when WWF took off, I mean, that was good because they got all the recognition. Robert and I went to Louisiana. From there, we went to NWA with Jimmy Crockett, and us, which we were on national TV with TBS, but it was 10 times bigger than WWF. And I'm serious. You don't even realize, just that everybody's seen WWF because it was on, they had the big, Monday night, boom, for years and years. But at the time, the 1985, and I got to hand it to Dusty Rhodes. What a booker. What a great mind in our business he had. But don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to tell you me and Dusty had a lot of fuck you fights, but, but it's hard. I love, but don't get me wrong. I love Dusty. He loved me too. And that's really, really where I learned that. But we had the greatest wrestlers in the world. I mean, you had the Midnight Express, you had the Four Horsemen, the real world heavyweight champion, Ric Flair, and all of them put together. None of them can wear his boots, in my opinion, but your opinion is like your ass. Everybody has one, but it's okay. But no, and that's what I'm trying to say. No, the rest of the business, I guess it started changing maybe like 1978, 79. And I could see it going. Now they started using younger baby faces. You see, because before you was just drawing your die-hard older generation wrestling fans. But then all of a sudden, here we are. We're like rock and roll stars that came out on TV, but they pushed us in the right way. You understand? We became movie stars overnight, and that's really what changed the business. It's not us, but it was using better looking guys wrestling. For example, I can tell you when I first went to Louisiana, Bill Watts was a top baby face, and he been working an angle with Abdullah the Butcher, and this is how this works. When I went in, Abdullah the Butcher was the top babyface. Now, how many girls you going to draw to come to see Abdullah the Butcher as babyface? But the reason why, because Bill Watts hadn't made his mind up about retiring just yet. And the reason why is he just finished his angle with Abdullah. He turned Abdullah babyface so they can bring in the next heel to wrestle Abdullah and beat Abdullah for Bill Watts to wrestle him. That's the way things like that work. And I hope I got that across good. But it's that's really when I started seeing, and plus my dad kept telling me too. He's telling me, man, this business is going to change. You got a great collection behind you. Is that pictures or is that your real stuff?
That's me real stuff, yeah. It's me real stuff.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah, so that poster is from 1977 at Liverpool Stadium. It's a giant haystack and Big Daddy.
Yes, I can see that, man. That's really cool.
And in the bottom left-hand corner, you might just be able to make out the name. It's a Young Dynamite Kid. Yes,
I got you. Yeah. Great. I have a lot of stuff like that, too. I have one in my other room. It's a poster. I got it framed. It's from 1978, where I wrestled Killer Tim Brooks in Amarillo, Texas. But I love, I kept all my shit for 46 years. And while I'm here on your show, I'm just going to go ahead and plug. I know you're asking the questions, but I'm just going to go ahead and plug this. If you're out there, especially there, at 5:05 every Sunday, Eastern time. I don't know what that'll be there, but it's Eastern time here in the States. I have a live YouTube show that comes on from my school, and it's a wrestling show. We do it's all about the kids from my wrestling school, but really for the talent and what they are, it's really badass. If you get a chance, anybody, and you too, check it out this Sunday. It comes on at 5:05 Eastern, YouTube, School of Morton.
I'm just looking at the clock now to see exactly what time that would be. So you are now at 15:39. So we're 5 hours behind you, 5 hours ahead of you. So if it's 5 p.m. Eastern time, it'll be 10 p.m. UK time or 10 p.m. European time. So
get a chance, watch it, check it out. And you were talking about Dick Boy earlier. What a work of art, man. He was, the British Bulldogs,
wasn't he?
They were really badass, man. I like them guys. We had a match with them, and I'm sorry, I'm just here.
No, love to hear the story about it.
We have a match that you can find on YouTube. It's us against the British Bulldogs. But what people don't understand is we're wrestling these guys in Kansas City, Missouri. We're going 30-minute time limit. But there was 2 feet of snow outside. Inside the building had to be 15 degrees. It was one of these real old buildings that no matter if they had the heat on, you couldn't get warm. I'm standing by the curtain, and I promise you, I got a big coat on with gloves. I can't break a sweat. We still went out and had a great match with them. But God, every time I took a bump, I felt like one of those cartoons that broke in a million feet. Oh God, it was just unbelievable how cold it was. Hey, go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Them 2 lads will probably be used to it if they grew up not far from me, about 20 minutes down the road from me. And in the winter, it's very cold. And I know they used to wrestle in pubs and stuff like that when they were little, the old brick houses. So I can only imagine what it would have been like in them. But so just to go back to, I know you mentioned Ric Flair. You obviously worked with Rick a lot over the years with the NWA and stuff. At the moment, he seems to be getting a lot of flack, doesn't he? It seems to be, after the Dark Side of the Ring episodes, where do you think it was unfair on him? Because he seems to be getting a lot of kind of pushback off it, and it was something that happened a number of years ago.
Well, stop it. This is just my opinion, like I told you. In the days of media, it's either one side or the other side. And if you have a little heat with somebody on that side or this side, they're just going to bury your ass. And you don't want it. If you know, that's why I quit watching news on TV. I used to get, it's most depressing shit in the world. And it's not about that. It's people talking about shit that they don't have no business talking about. I don't know what episode it was about Flair being on the airplane. Was it the airplane coming back from Saudi Arabia? Okay, I don't know. But I've been on a plane with Flair when he did that. But he didn't bother nobody. Everybody accepted him. That was what Ric Flair was. I really didn't listen. Now understand me. I didn't really listen about what happened on the airplane.
Yeah.
But that's the Nature Boy, and they're on a private plane anyway, aren't they? I think it's a private Vince's plane, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And it's always somebody's got to say something. So depressing. And you really have to watch what you do. I don't know how it is in camp, but I know here in the United States, it's so treacherous. Sometimes I think we lived in the most corrupt country in the world over here. And I'm serious, dude. I'm just speaking my mind. It's damned if you do and damned if you don't. And, I got sick of it. I just, I'm the kind of guy, I don't know. I got older. I meddled out. I don't know if it's because I got older or the medication the doctor put me on. But no, I'm just bullshitting. But I'm just saying, everybody has their own opinion. But if you look in the history of Ric Flair, what else do you expect? You know,
Yeah,
I know if I was on the plane, I would expect for him to have his robe coming on down that line. That's just the way it is. Now, smart me up. What did they say Rick done?
So apparently he was doing the helicopter or the rope, as some people have called it, and apparently when one of the waitresses went in, yeah, and apparently one of the girls went into the back, one of the hostesses, he went over and tried to grab it in the back.
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes it might have happened, might have not. You know, I know Rick said a lot of it didn't happen that way, but I don't know. I never know the truth, and but I love Ric Flair.
Yeah,
I do. I learned so much from him, fella. In this business.
Everyone always says he lives that gimmick, doesn't he? He lives that gimmick in real life, like he is as flamboyant and larger than life as the Nature Boy.
And that's right. You know, I was one of the few that really got to do an angle with Ric Flair. I was at the right place at the right time, and like I told you earlier, and boy, you talking about getting a PhD in wrestling business. I really did. It was great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish the best for Rick. I hadn't.
No problem. Okay, so just to with the dark side of the ring, I mean, when we see that you've been everywhere and you've seen everything, you really have. I mean, 2 episodes on Dark Side of the Ring, one being Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling. That was an episode that was on not long ago, and you actually participated in one of their events. Did you know?
Fresh in my memory, who was about it? Because I talked about
FMW, Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, over in Japan.
Okay, buddy. I'm on a 30-second delay in my mind. No, okay, it was, but I was on the dark side but I thought I was talking about somebody else. I don't know.
That was where they had the death matches and stuff like that. I mean, I think you yourself participated in a normal match over there.
Now I know what you're talking about. So what are you asking me about?
Yeah, what was it like? What was it like over there? Was it crazy?
It still is. Different. Well, you see, now, they still have their smaller promotions there that are nothing like. But at the time I went there, you had Giant Baba, you had New Japan, and then you had FMW, which I went over for Giant Baba. But then I started going, and you got to understand, FMW was the ECW. Do you know what I'm talking about? The crazy stuff. Oh yes. I mean, they have the fireworks hooked up to they take the ropes down, put barbed wire all the way around it, and then they put like they call them like bombs, but they would explode when you hit it, and hell, it'd burn like hell too. They do that. They did the tack matches with the real tacks. Yeah. 9 out of 10 times. See, everything's a gimmick. I watched a show one time. They did the tack match, and they didn't have the hell in it. You understand? Yeah. But in Japan, they did. I was in a couple of those, but I was cool. I had it was like a flap jacket up under my shirt that was real thick. And but don't get me wrong, they still stick in your ass and everything else. I see that, and I seen Terry Fox. I was sitting back there. Terry Fox is they're in a fire match, dude, where everything's on fire, and they're very sacred over there. And Terry Funk told me, "Ricky Morton, come here." So, we're at Kawasaki Stadium, and it's hard, and they try to keep you back. And Terry Funk brought me a great big old thing of water in a big old bucket, He said, "See this right? You go out to ringside and be out there with the Japanese boys." But the Japanese boys didn't want me to come out there, because that was their job. Mm. And Terry said, I don't give a damn what they say. If you see me on fire, put my ass out. That's what it's crazy. You know, Cactus Jack or Dick Foley, Mick Foley, whatever you want to say. You know, that's where he really got his legacy at for FVW, doing some of the craziest, godliest things I've ever seen in my life. But now I want to go back to the real story of Japan. I don't know. Have you ever been to Japan? Traveled there?
I have not. No, I've not had the pleasure.
It's the most beautiful place, the most cleanest place, and the most respectful people you ever see in your life. You know what? You don't even see trash cans in Japan. I don't know if you know that or not, because people, you know, like if you're out, you know, they carry a little bag with them to put their trash in. And, you know, and it's the damnedest thing in the world to see how clean, how nice. And another thing is there is their crime. You know, here you get mugged and get killed. And you never see or read about that in Japan. No. And I think one of the reasons why is, and it's really cool. I mean, if you're found guilty in Japan, you know, and you get death, you know, you don't have appeals for 20 years. They take your ass out back, kill you. So that's a whole different ballgame.
And the wrestling fans are over there. They're very respectful as well and quiet, aren't they? They're very.
Oh yeah. The wrestling fans are great everywhere you go. And what is really cool when we first went there, said, man, we were just like rock stars when we got there. And it did the same thing there as it did here. I mean, you know, we pull up on the bus to the hotel we're staying at. I mean, there's 3,000 Japanese girls out there. You know, it's cool, man, cool as shit, dude.
Yeah. Now, I know you were part of an amazing tag team in a golden era of wrestling, of tag team wrestling. You know, it really was a great era for some of the feuds that you had yourself, and you know, just tag team wrestling in general in them times. And obviously, you were at the top of that pile. Why do you think tag team wrestling is not being as prominent nowadays as what it was back then?
It's too much. You know what? This is my opinion too. Our wrestling business, and to tell you the truth, how do I start this? Because I don't want to pat myself on the back. I don't want to sound like well, it's just like my wife tells me. My wife tells me, says, you know, I might not always be right, but I'm never wrong. So so it's like this right here. The training today, they have the great training facilities for WWE, you know, at the performance centers. You have a lot of guys go through the training, but the one thing that they don't do is to teach the guys to understand what our business is about. It's not about, you know, go out there to your match and you get all your shit in that you possibly do. And your business makes no sense. Now, this is me. I'm telling you, Wes, which I told you earlier. If you watch my School of Morton, every match tells a story to next week. See, they forgot all about that. You know, they just go out there and to do a lot of things. Now, take for instance, me, top babyface, okay, and I'm wrestling. Well, see what the guys don't understand now as a babyface. You don't ever want to win a match. Do you understand what I mean with that? Mm-hmm. You want the heel to screw you every week, because if I beat you, our deal is over. Yeah. And that's what you see on TV all the time. All the time, boys just win. Yeah. You understand me? It's not me. When I was the tag team champions, the people pay their money to see me beat the heel, but the heel keeps screwing me every week. You see, now we got a different match to come back in, and then he has screwed me a different way. Right when you get in the win, here comes Jimmy Cornette in, hits you in the head with a tennis racket. It's things that made at that time sense. I watched WWE Monday night, a little bit of it, and I cut it off. I've been in this business for 46 years. I mean, I've been in it since my dad all my life, but wrestling for 46 years. And when you sit down and I'm watching and I'm focused on the TV, I don't know what the hell I'm watching.
No,
I think I'm watching the fucking circus. Everybody's just flipping and flopping, and there's no storytelling.
No.
That's what I want to do. I would love to go to a big company, and I just don't just let me have one match every week and make it an old school match. And you watch. I promise you, and no matter what people say, when I do live shows at my school and I'm filming, do you know how many times I have to go to commercial break because the fans are jumping in the ring on the heels? Because you do it, and don't get me wrong, it's still there. It's still there. If they had somebody to learn how to do it right, and that's my opinion.
Yeah. Do you blame the companies rather than the wrestlers?
Huh?
Do you feel like if do you blame the companies more than the wrestlers? Do you feel like the wrestlers could do it if they were given the opportunity to?
Well, yeah, they could do that, but first of all, in our business, when they ask you something, you got to know how to do it. But what I was fixing to tell you a while ago, I mean, I can't. When you got something in your mind that you want to do for TV, I mean, who's the guy you got to pick to do it? The guy that gets a lot of cheers on TV. I mean, but me as myself, when I wrestled in a territory, we never got to see the heels. Never. It's kayfabe, bro. You get fired.
Yeah.
You didn't get to go over your matches. Do me a favor after a while. Watch Starrcade 1986. Robert and I against Ole Anderson and I can't think.
Sully.
No, not Tully. Brother Anderson. Arn.
On.
Yeah, man, you know why? That's what happens. And watch this. Now, we're in a big building. Man, there's 15,000 people there. Never once get to see them or talk over our match. They're and get fired for that. And when you got your finish, do you know I'm talking about the finish of a match? Mm-hmm. The finish. Okay, when you get in the ring, Tommy Young would tell you. Okay, right when I stepped in the ring, and it ain't you got to do this, you got to do that. It's the baby faces are going over. All he'd do, everybody get here. In the ring, somebody you tell me, baby face is over. That was it. And watch how we put things together and how we told a story in a match without even rehearsing nothing. Do you wrestle?
No, I don't. No.
Are you very involved with it there in UK?
Yeah. I go to a lot of shows, and I'm up to
go in the back any.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, and take for instance, you got the guys. I told somebody this other day. Yeah, you're back there, and everybody's going over their matches. I mean, it's all night long. I mean, I had to go piss the other night, and I had to duck 3 clotheslines, reverse a hip toss, and just to get through the fucking boys. I don't know if you got that or not, but I'm just saying.
That's it.
But they're going over everything, and then the guys were asking me, "Will you watch my match?" I watch every match. I just don't let them know. I just like to see what what people do, what they're capable of, and how to do, and guys, did you watch my match? And I said, yeah. But I said, did you watch a match before you? He says, no. I said, y'all did the same damn thing. You had the same damn match as the match before you did. And that's what hurts our business a lot.
Yeah.
I hope I answered that question for you.
Thank you. Okay, brilliant. So back in 2018, you did appear with AEW. You went there for as far as I'm aware. What did you think about AEW as a startup company? And do you think they're different to WWE? think they're trying to achieve something
Well,
different?
okay, at that time, yes. What I think about, see, any wrestling business that opens up, I love it. And you know why? Because it's for the boys.
Yeah.
The boys have more places to work. There's more, dude, I'm here. I'm on the independent circuit. I'm fixing to fly, which you're probably not familiar. I'm way down. I'm fixing to fly to the very tip corner of Maine to wrestle this weekend. And, and it's all new guys there that I never seen. And that probably they don't get to come down here, but I go out and I watch every match. So, they give boys new things. But when AEW first opened up, I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I've come in a couple of times right when they got going, and I can understand. I don't know if it's the ego trip of Vince and Tony Khan. I mean, I really don't know. But then again, I was watching AEW. It was last week. And when I cut the TV on, I thought I was watching WWE 2 years ago. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yes. But see, that's great. It's good to have those guys because a lot of them know it can teach younger guys. But if you want this business to grow, you're going to have to build your own stars. And that's what I'm talking about. And there are plenty of them in this world that will never get a break in our business because of that. And I don't think the ratings went up that much from bringing in guys. And, that's what all the fans like anyway. They like their new talent. Little Marco, whoever expected him to ever get a break.
Yeah.
And, my brother's 2 foot nothing, but he's one of the great. But to meet him and say, I'm the happiest guy in the world for him because he was there to get that break. And it's 1,000 more guys out there like that they need to focus on a little bit more. But our wrestling business these days is. Years ago in territories, you had to depend on each other because you didn't have the $1 million contracts. Hell, you got paid how many asses were in the seats. And trust me, the promoter always got the first count. And now they have these $1 million contracts, and it's not about getting the angle over. It's not about getting this over. It's about me.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody, it's me. It's me, not you. Used to, you work to get people. Now everybody, they're fighting for your job. Even though they got a great job, they want both of them. And that's, to me, it's really screwing our business up, to me, I think.
Yeah. Because you look back in the, the early, the Warrior Hogan time in Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan time in wrestling. And I know when I read a lot of stuff and I do a lot of research on this sort of thing, and it was always Ultimate Warrior wanted what Hogan had, and that's what was his downfall ultimately. Got him in the end.
Yeah, the same thing. What I call it is you can't fight City Hall. I could tell you anything. Hulk Hogan was not the greatest worker in our business. I hit something. Can you see me?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know what I hit, but okay. But but one thing that he always did in the match, and this is what I'm trying. We went to this earlier. Babyface is selling. Hulk Hogan always sold. Do you remember? Because his thing was jerking that shirt off at the end of the match.
They always say with Hogan, it was that formula, wasn't it, in a match where it was kind of beat up at first, come back, and then.
Yeah, I've seen that happen more than once in territories. And see, that's what happened with in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm telling you, Jerry Lawler owned half of Memphis, and Jerry Jarrett was motivated, and you wasn't going to get over Jerry Lawler. And they had a team there called the Fabulous Ones, Steve Carr and Stan Lane, and they bucked. they bucked Jerry Lawler. Oh no, that's the reason Jerry Lawler brought us in, was to take their position. But then Jerry Jarrett stepped in and wouldn't let it happen. So Robert and I went to Louisiana, and you see, we went, and then and all it did was kill them off. They just they try to stand up to the office, but they're the ones in front of the TV. They just buried them. Then the Fantastics was over with. But it happens like that. Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, he tried to, I think Vince
take over.
Him, right?
He did, he did, didn't he? Yeah, he tried to take over, didn't he? And I think in the end he got fired because of it. Because I think he holds it up Vince over money and said, I want what Hogan's making, or I'm not going out to wrestle. And he went, okay, I'll pay you it. But wrestled the match, and then when he walked back through the curtain, he sacked him.
Yeah, he sure did. And you can't do that in our business.
No.
But
so just to go back to, sorry, go on.
Back. Go ahead.
So just to go back to AEW, they are looking, there's rumours that they're looking to bring back the 6-man tag championships or the trios championships. Now, you was a trio champion in WCW back in the day, wasn't you? What do you think about them bringing them titles back?
Yeah, I was WCW, 6-man tag team champ. And in Memphis, we were the Mid-South. It was me, Jerry Lawler, and heck, I forgot who else. It was before Robert. But what did I feel about them bringing it back?
Yeah. Do you think it's got a place?
They're lost the things they're running out of do because they have nobody in the office there that can come up with some of the greatest ideas. And this is what I'm going to tell you earlier. I didn't make contracts. We got paid for how many butts we put in the seats. And like I told you, the promoter got the first count. But when you're at a level working, now I'm not just patting myself on the back. I work for the show next week. Like if I come to Charlotte on that Sunday, and I'm doing a show, and we're coming back in Charlotte in 2 weeks. See, I'm already here. I'm working for that show in 2 weeks to sell it out. Okay, then that 2 weeks, I'm working for the next show. But you have guys in our business, there's a lot of them, I'm not knocking them, that have worked to here. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
From the court out, worked there. There's very few that's worked here. And see, the ones that's worked here, it's not about what I can do or what move I can do. It's not that. It's about I know how to get the people to come back to see my show.
Yeah.
The overturn of viewers in this business is really incredible because instead of getting their fans and keeping them, they're losing, they're getting more fans to watch. But the companies need to do something to get everybody watching again. Yeah.
Would you ever go and work in any one of the companies as, say, a producer? Would you ever go and work backstage for, say, WWE or AEW or Impact Wrestling?
Now you asked me what?
Would you ever go and work as a backstage producer for them?
You talk about an agent?
Yes.
Agent? I would love to, but and this is the way it is. It's the same thing. They don't want me back there. The boys don't, because I know they know that I can take their job. But listen, I don't want their job. I just want my job. And I'm not going to come after your job. I'm not like those other guys. So right now it's so defensive. When Ricky Morton comes to the door, everybody in there is wondering what the fuck am I there for? Because I do know. I'm still on the end. I'm 65 years old. I wrestle at independent circuits, and we do big business. Okay, I make more money now than I ever made in my life, and I'm 65 years old wrestling. It's because I know how to make people come back.
Yeah. And you were, as I say, you did go to AEW in 2019. Have you got any plans to go back to them? Have you had any conversations with them?
Yeah, buddy. The doors are always open. Uh, I know on the independent circuit, Robert and I fixing to wrestle FTR. Uh, I did a little thing on there where I slapped Tully Blanchard, and remember they pile drive me.
Mm.
I don't know. See, that's what I'm talking about. They did this, but they didn't take it nowhere else.
Mm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see, you got to have people in the back. And see, I learned this from Dusty Rhodes. Smart guy, man. You got to keep up with what's going on in you. Especially now, you don't. It's just the liberals and all that shit. I'm not in that.
Well,
but back then, you can't put what's going on in the media, and you make it into the wrestling.
And talking about Dusty Rhodes, Cody, his son, is a big prominent factor in AEW at the moment. Now, do you think Cody needs to turn heel? Because he seems to be not getting over the babyface, but he seems adamant that he's not going to turn. Do you think he's potentially going to have to turn in the end?
Who, Cody?
Mm-hmm.
You talking about Cody Rhodes?
Yes.
He might be. You know what, Cody needs to just take off a couple of months. I mean, he's never going to take off. He works at the back. He runs the back. But do something, and it's not that, buddy. They're just not doing stuff right. And I'm telling you the truth. If I was back there in 3 weeks, I could have Cody Rhodes the hottest baby face in the country, or I could have him the hottest heel in the country, because that's the part we just talked about that I know.
Yeah,
I watch what you're talking about. I know he come out of the night, they booed the shit out of him, because it's because nowadays you're dealing with smart marks, and what you think they are. To me, I love the smart marks because they think they know everything, and really what it boils down to, they don't know shit. They think they do because they've never been there.
Yeah.
But I'm serious. If I had that opportunity, I don't know. It's just according on what they're going to do in the back or what they got in their things. But it's them. If they could make him the hottest baby face in the world, they can make him the hottest heel again. What they're doing right now, to me, is a stalemate, huh?
Yeah. See, what you're saying there is very interesting with the reaching a stalemate with him. Now, one of my things that I say with AEW at the moment is quite right what you're saying. They've got smart mark fans and they've got real. I mean, I'm a fan of wrestling as a whole, but when I look at AEW, I see fans that are very territorial. Now, do you think Cody will take time to grow? Because the more casual fans that come in, the more they would take to somebody like Cody, rather than these small fans that think they know everything.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They're gonna have to find a way to open up new doors for the fans to turn on. I don't really. It's a hard question to answer, really. But they have the money, they have the opportunity, they have all the resources to do that. But to me, in the back, somebody don't have the knowledge to know how to do that, and they're playing a guessing game. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. It's a hit and miss situation. But and by doing this, I mean, you just can't do it one night. You understand me? You can't do this one night. I have to. If I was there, I would refurbish Cody and rebuild him. Rebuild it. Get to a whole.
It's basically what you're trying to say is that AEW needs to get some kind of direction in the back, maybe bring in some like agents or people that can bring everything together more for them.
Well, they got them back there, but they never had nobody back there that has worked on top to know in your head what to do. I mean, what I'm trying to get out of to you here, they have some wonderful guys in the back. I'm not knocking that part. But the ones they have in the back, that's in control, has never worked on top nowhere where everybody depended on you to get paid. And I hope that you understand what I just said right there.
Yeah.
See, it's a whole different. So a lot of people worked on top, but you got to understand to be on top, especially if you came from WWE. Vince McMahon spent what $100 million on you to get you over on TV. Nobody spent no money. See, in our days, nobody spent no money on you. You had to get over yourself, and it took all the boys to do that. In order to get to start all over with Cody again, I had to get all the boys to do this. We all got to get him over to where I want him at. And then I have somebody else that I'll be building to get him over. When him and Cody meet, it ain't just going on TV doing an interview and then you wrestle the main event of the show. I will work this bitch for a month or two, and then even when it for that to get it back that way, it's
brilliant. All right, Ricky. Well, Ricky, we're running out of time now, so thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. It's really, really a pleasure to speak to yourself, and a living legend in my eyes. So thank you so much.
Well, I hope that I answered the questions that you wanted me to. I mean, it sometimes it's hard because I'm not a guy that rehearses anything, and when you're asking me something, see, sometimes for me to answer a question, I have to go way over here to come back.
No, that's absolutely fine. It's good to get a very good insight from yourself.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you, man. If you ever come to and listen now, you can get me on Twitter, Real Ricky Morton. Ricky Morton, my school of Morton. And please, if you can, advertise for me. I love for you to watch my show Sunday. I'm not on it. I don't say it's my show, but I'm never on it. It's my kids from my school. I don't push myself. All right.
Brilliant. Well, guys, make sure you check the link below. We will put Ricky's Schools channel down there for you to go and have a look at that. UK 10 p.m, 5 p.m. Eastern time, and wherever else it is in the world that you are, please do find the time, and based on that, you can Google it and find out the times. But I say, click the link. If you click the link below, hit the notification bell. It will notify you when Ricky's show goes live. So make sure you check that out for us. And Ricky, thanks so much again, guys. From myself and everyone at Wrestlebuddy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, all right, buddy. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too, Ricky. Bye now.